How did Diddy manage to slide his way out of prison? Well, after a long trial, Diddy was found not guilty of trafficking and racketeering conspiracy. And yes, he'll get off the most serious charges. But what was revealed in the courtroom was much darker than anyone expected. Although the outcome may be disappointing, the trial was much larger than a win or a loss for Diddy and the victims, because it shed spotlight on Hollywood and everything that's kept in the dark. It not only exposed Diddy's crimes, but what might be an entire system that has been enabling him for years, and how money and power interferes with justice. The parties, the freak-offs, the violence, the silence showed that he was protected. Diddy's empire were insulated by the industry, and that's the scariest part of this whole trial. So let's get into how it all went down. The trial began in May 2025 and wrapped up on July 2nd, 2025. Diddy was found guilty on 2 accounts of transportation to engage with prostitution under the Federal Mann Act, but he was acquitted on the RICO charge and 2 counts of trafficking. These guilty charges carry a maximum of 10 years in prison each. So instead of facing a possible life sentence, Diddy now faces only 20 years in prison. And that's if he even gets the maximum sentencing for the charges, because the judge can set a lesser sentence to run concurrently. Apparently, Diddy dropped to his knees and began to pray when he heard the verdict in the court that day. The reporters who were in court that day said everyone stood up and there was loud cheering and applause. This was mainly coming from his family and legal team, but many other people in the courtroom too. The happiness about the verdict didn't last too long though, because only a few hours later, Diddy was sent back to jail to be held until his sentencing in October. That may not be bad though, because apparently his fellow inmates gave him a standing ovation when he returned. His lawyers tried to get him out though. They requested bail so he could just be with his family until sentencing, but the judge denied the bail request, mainly because Cassidy's lawyer wrote to the court to object his release. He said that Ms. Ventura believes that Mr. Combs is likely to pose a danger to the victims who testified him in this case, including herself, because there were other victims aside from Cassidy that came forward. And there was one of them that was extremely shocking. This person was referred to as Jane, and she testified alongside Cassidy. Although the freak-off tapes shown in court were disturbing, it was Jane's testimony that truly shocked the courtroom. No one knew Diddy's relationship with Jane prior to this trial. Jane was a social media influencer and dated Diddy secretly between 2021 and 2024. During their 24-hour testimony, Jane said she agreed to the extremely sexual demands because she wanted to please her boyfriend, but she eventually felt obligated to continue out of fear that he would stop paying for her rent and her child. Jane said she was stunned by the similarities when she read Cassie's lawsuit in 2023. She said she even texted Diddy saying, "I feel I'm reading my own sexual trauma," and her testimony highlighted a disturbing pattern of coercion similar to Cassie's. She described being pressured into drug-fueled hotel nights with male escorts. This was very similar to Cassie's testimony and painted an even darker image of Diddy, where she said that if she refused to participate in the freak-offs that he would beat her, and threatened to humiliate her by leaking explicit tapes. While all of this was happening, Diddy allegedly had employees to help arrange and cover up his illegal acts. Prosecutors used the RICO to portray Diddy as the leader of a criminal enterprise. The freak-offs, named hotel nights or Wild King nights, often included ecstasy, baby oil, and hired male escorts, all of which required coordination and planning. The prosecutors argued that he relied on rotating group of employees, and yes, jurors were shown clips of these encounters. Despite this, the jurors found him not guilty of the most serious charges. Well, his lawyers were very convincing, and they painted a different story to the jury. Diddy's lawyers argued that his arrangements were consensual, even though he admitted that he had been violent against the 3 women. His lawyers presented text messages between Diddy and both women to try to show that they were willing and excited to participate in the freak-offs. They also fought against the prosecution claim that Diddy employees knew about all of this. His lawyers claimed that the staff were doing their job and they were not a part of the conspiracy or criminal organization. For most people, the verdict was a huge disappointment. In recent years, there's been progress in holding abusers accountable, but it seems like a setback for the criminal justice system, and it shows that unfortunately money and power still have a role to play in the justice process, which is something more disturbing than anything else revealed in the courtroom. Diddy still faces jail time, but much less than if he were found guilty of all charges. While all this happened, celebrities who attended Diddy's parties remained silent. These celebrities participated in some of these activities and witnessed a lot of it too. His victims were also up-and-coming artists, dancers, and employees. Diddy often used his position to exploit people, and others were bystanders and witnesses. While the names weren't always made public, Jane and the others hinted at other celebrities were present at the explicit events. Many in the industry have known or heard about these rumors but stayed quiet to protect their careers or reputations. He also used power and money to keep his actions a secret. Multiple witnesses said that Diddy offered cash settlements and non-disclosure agreements to keep people quiet. Media outlets, award shows, and companies continue to support him. The allegations of assault, trafficking, and violence have been whispers in the industry for years, but no one in Hollywood said a word. Instead, they looked away and helped him, which is a part of how he remained unchecked for so long. And just when people thought the trial would serve him what he deserves, it didn't. He may face some sort of short prison sentence, but it's a slap on the wrist compared to what he's done. He revealed that the criminal justice system in America bows down to wealth and power. It highlighted how hard it is to hold ultra-wealthy accountable. In the end, money spoke louder than the truth, and the justice remains something that the rich can buy their way out of. So it's likely that Diddy will not spend much time in prison, and he will probably come out perfectly fine. But we'll have to wait and see how his story unfolds after the sentencing in a few months. If you enjoyed the video, like and subscribe, it would really help out the channel. And if you're already subscribed, I appreciate your support, and until next time, thanks for watching.